It's your boy DjTonka. You are tuned in to the Wild Podcast Show. It will be available on my YouTube channel at DjTonka NYC. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on that notification bell so anytime I drop an episode, you definitely will get notification. We got a special caller that called up this evening. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's Ravenseye, basically calling out of Florida. Thank you again for having me.
No problem. Thank you for taking the time. What I wanted to talk about, and we've been chopping it up once before about this. I wanted to talk about how the dating scene have changed. I have seen the change in the dating scene, and I know you have your opinion on the dating scene too as well. Like what you have witnessed.
It has changed quite a bit. Back in the day, I can start off with that. Back in the day, you always met somebody in the grocery store, out and about, and it was easy. Now there's so many different avenues in which you can meet someone, and it's like you never really get a real person sometimes. It's like now people have so many different messages to where it doesn't make any sense anymore. It's like you sitting there, you trying to talk to somebody, get to know them, and it's like, come to find out they lying about everything. They lying about what kind of car they drive, if they even got a car. There's like so many different things, and then online dating has really taken off to where it's like you can be on 7 different platforms, 7 different dating sites, and it's like, man, are you serious? So I know with me trying to date, it's been crazy. I've met people who are cool, and I've met some people that have lied about their age. I mean, things that you shouldn't have to lie about, they lie. And it's like, it makes it difficult to date now because you don't know if you're getting a real person or their representative. Exactly.
It's different, especially with these dating sites. You can portray to be whoever you want to be. When you meet someone, it's totally somebody different. The true colors usually come out when you meet them in person. Catfish going on, who they really are. Sometimes I have heard stories that, women meet a guy online dating, and they have a whole wife, family, either in the States or out of the country. It's real crazy that we have to go through these situations, and sometimes men and females don't want to take the time to really get to know anybody. They're going based on what they see on profiles, and sometimes they don't even want to sit on the phone. I'm going to ask you a question. What have you been through that you kind of like tired of going through? Or if it happened to you once, or if it happened to you more than one time, that it's like a pattern that you see all the time that is just like you just can't take?
Like, I'll say the first one is just lying. Like, if you have no money, if you're broke, if you live with your mama, like, it's like those things I don't care about. Like, I really don't. But it's like, why lie and say you got this 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom house and you don't? And then it's like you portraying this role like, oh, I drive a BMW, and you don't drive, you drive your bicycle. And it's like, you find this stuff out when you go out on a date. I mean, I had one guy, went on a date with him, and it was like, everything was cool until the check came. Then he was just like, oh, you got this right? And I'm looking at him like, no. And it made me feel like, but you, on your profile, you made it seem like you got this job, you're a contractor, working for Department of Defense, all types of stuff. And I'm sitting here like, but you ain't even got money to pay for the meal. And it's like, I don't ever go anywhere without no money, because it's like, I don't want to ever be put in a situation like that to where I'm thinking, oh, he gonna pay for it, and then he don't pay for it. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't mind doing it if we've talked about it. But if we've already discussed, like, we're going here, this is what we're doing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't want to pay, then it's like, man, come on. Like, really? And then I've had that. I've had one where the guy, we talked for like 2 weeks. When we finally did meet, The next thing I know, his phone just study blowing up. It's like, oh, I gotta answer it. The next thing I know, it's like, we're walking out, and his freaking wife is there. And I'm looking like, whoa, and she's like, oh, so you the woman that's been, I said, no, like, this is our first meeting. I didn't know he was married. Like, I really don't like that. I mean, I've dealt with that before where most of them I've had where they will call me, like the wives will call me like 3 or 4 days into talking to them, like, he's married, he has 7 kids, and I'm like, no. And it's like, you get to a point, you get tired of it. Like, my thing is this, if you have a situation, live in your truth. If your situation is you're married and you're not happy, live in that. But don't make me live in that with you if I'm not with that. It's like, give me the opportunity to make that decision if I want to deal with it or not. But don't put me in it in order to say you with somebody. And then it's like, people don't really want, I don't even think people really want to date anymore. Like, dating used to be something that you meet the person, you get flowers.
Exactly.
You have a good time. And now it's like, people are like, they want to go out, but it's like, there's no flowers. They're just like, hey, how you doing? And then you looking like, really? And then it's like, they don't open doors no more. They don't open car doors. They don't open the door to go into the restaurant. It's like, there's no real, it's like, to me, everything is kind of like robotic. It's like we're just doing it to go through the motion, but yet we're not really into it. It's like, it's not, like you say, it's not genuine anymore. Nothing is genuine. Everything is like based off of what I want everybody to think I got, or what I want them to perceive of me, instead of just being your true self. It's like, nobody wants to be their true self when they go out anymore. It's like, you don't want to take the time out to know a person, but as long as they look good, oh yeah, we can take pictures, we can do selfies all day, and you looking like, no, like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to truly know who you are as a person. And then you think you know them, but then later on down the road, you find out they're either married, and then it's not like they're unhappily married, they're happily married.
Yeah.
The wife don't see no problems. It's nothing wrong. And then it's like, they coming to you like, oh, I don't know this woman. Who is that chick? I don't know. That's a crazy lady. No, that's your wife sitting up here acting whole food in the restaurant. All because you lied and allowed her to come here to do what? Like, and then you have nowadays too, people feel like because they go out with you on a date, then that means it's, after that, it's sexual advances. It's like, oh, now we got to have sex. No, we don't. If that's not, if you're going to buy me a meal to feel like I want to have sex with you, baby, you're going to be spending a lot more than $60. For me, anyway. I don't know about everybody else. But $60 is not finna let you sleep with me. That's how I look at it. Because I feel like at the end of the day, that's not what I want to do with you. I don't even know you. I don't even know your last name. But yet, you feel like because you bought me dinner, that, oh, we finna have sex. No. Like, no, we're not doing that. And I get tired of that.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. So the gentleman that you went out on a date with, before, how long you guys was talking before you actually went out on this date?
We have been talking 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a perfect time.
Yeah, we were talking for a minute. I mean, every now and then I may talk to somebody like a week, but most of the time, before I try to talk to them for 2 weeks, because at least that gives me an opportunity to feel that person, see if they really want to go out with me or not. Because a lot of times within the first week, most people kind of like fall off. So to keep talking, like after 2 weeks for me is like a good thing. So it's like, it's cool. We can go ahead and go out. And she came with acting a fool. I was like, oh Lord. I was like, that's the first. I ain't never had that one done. I've had other stuff done, but that was the first. That was the first for me. I had him come up there because he had his location on. Like, how do you have your location on your phone and you know you're doing dirt? Like,
he wasn't bright enough. He wasn't bright enough.
Wasn't. That's why I said I'm glad I dodged that bullet. I mean, for real, because it was like, ooh. Because, shoot, you doing all that, yeah, it would have been, yeah, I'm glad I know this now and not, months down the road where she comes somewhere where we're at and I'm looking like, who is this woman? So it's like, I was glad it happened the way it happened, because it was like, okay, you didn't have to lie. You know, I just wouldn't have went out with you. I wouldn't have talked with you for 2 weeks. I would have just been like, you know what? Go on about your business. Go on talk to somebody else. I'm not that person. Like, I don't break up happy homes.
Did she come inside where you guys was at? Were you guys done eating? Were you guys in the parking lot talking?
Oh no, she came inside where we were at. Like, she walked in there, and I seen her when she came in, but I wasn't paying no attention, because where we were sitting at, you could see us both, like, plain as day. So it was like, as soon as you walked in, you saw us. So it was like, I'm one of the people, I don't sit. There's a certain way I sit when I'm in a restaurant anyway. So it was like, I saw her. I just didn't pay no attention. I just took it to be, and she was a patron that was coming in. And then she started walking to our table. And then she's walking to the table. She has her phone out. And I'm looking like, what the heck's going on here? And then next thing I know, it's like, she calls his name, and he looks up, and he has this look on his face like, what the heck? So he looking like he's a deer caught in headlights, and I'm looking like, for real, this is what we're doing? And it was kind of like, whoa. And it was like right before we got our food. So whenever he left home, he told her he was going to shoot pool. He didn't tell her he was going out to eat. So she was thinking, oh, he going to shoot pool. Well, she goes in her tablet, looks at the location, and realizes, okay, he's not going to the pool hall. He's going somewhere else. So she actually got in the car and followed him. And she actually said, she was actually talking to me. And she was like, I sat outside. I saw when y'all pulled up. I saw when you pulled up. I was here when he pulled up. And I just sat here. And I just waited for y'all to go inside. And I was like, wow, really? Like, you was here for a minute. And I'm like, and it was crazy, because it was like, they had been married for like 15 years. They have like 4 kids together.
Wow, that's a family.
Like, yeah, it's like a whole family. And like, he just got promoted, and like, she just got promoted. Like, they thought, she's honest, like, I thought everything was fine. She was like, he comes home, there's no problems. She was like, I would have never thought this. She said, only because, you know, she didn't have a reason to think he was cheating or doing anything to that effect. And that's what she was more so upset about, because she was just like, I'm not mad with you because you obviously didn't know, because you're looking at me like, what's going on? And I thought, I honestly didn't know. I said, I met him off a dating website. We talked for 2 weeks. The man told me he was single. I said, it got to the point where he was trying to get me to come to the house. She was like, oh, so you were going to come to the house when me and the kids went out of town. I'm like, when y'all going out of town? So it was like, he was really finna play this role where he was just like finna get me cased up to where this lady could have sat here and hurt me because I'm in her house. Like, it was like one of those things where it could have been that type of situation, to where it's like, oh, you come to my house, because he talked about it. But I was like, you know, once we meet and see how things go, you know, we'll come back to that. And it was kind of like, I'm glad we didn't come back to that, because it was like, you was actually gonna bring me to your house, so how was you gonna do that? Because all y'all pictures is everywhere. So how you gonna play it? You gonna take all your pictures down? Like, it's kind of like it was crazy. And he couldn't do nothing but sit there and shake his head. And it was like, that's all you gotta say? Well, that's all you gotta do? You can't even say nothing? Like, come on, dude. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God. I felt embarrassed. It was like, I was embarrassed, because I was like, oh my God, I didn't know this. And like I said, she came in there and she was loud at first, but then once she saw my face, it was kind of like, oh wow, she really don't know nothing. But she was more mad with him, because it was like, shoot, that's her husband. And she's like, you don't even have your ring on? Where's your ring? What you do with your ring? You stuck it in your pocket? And he was like, no. She's like, well, where is it? And he's like, it's in the glove compartment. So it was like, you was really doing the most. Like, you took your whole ring off and everything. Like, it was crazy. It was very chaotic.
That definitely sound like cheaters. Just sit here thinking about it. It's like, yo, this look like an episode from Cheaters without the camera.
Right, and that's what I was waiting for. It was like so funny, because when she came in like that and had her phone up, I'm thinking, oh God, it's gonna be some cameras. It's gonna be some. I'm looking. She's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I don't know, because you came here like, and I told her, I said, you came here like you got a camera crew or something. She's like, no, it's just me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had to make sure, because it was like, I'm looking around and people are looking, and you know, of course, people are thinking there's something going to go down, so everybody's recording. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I cannot believe this is happening to me. Yeah, it was crazy. When I say it was crazy, it was literally crazy. I was sitting there like, oh my God, like, I couldn't believe it. And then I'm just sitting there looking, and then I'm looking at her, and I'm like, honestly, she was this beautiful woman. Like, she was one of those people that I was like, you cheating on me with her? Like, I ain't even a 10. She like a 12, 13. She better than me. You trying to be on a dating site and you got a wife that look like this and successful, and I'm just like, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I was like, I guess it wasn't meant for me to understand. And then it just made me, and after that, I think I stayed off the dating scene for like at least 5 or 6 months. I didn't date for like almost 6 months. Because I was so embarrassed by what happened, and I was just like, no, I don't even want to talk to nobody right now. Like, I don't even want to try to, like, deal with anybody. And then even recently, it was like trying to date. It was like, I started talking to this guy. Everything was cool, but then, you know, you got Facebook now, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got all these different things. And then I'm looking, and there are like all these particular people that kept leaving posts. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Next thing I know, you talking to 3 different people besides me. And I'm like, okay, I'm asking like, hey, you know, are you talking to anybody? You know, are you seeing anyone? Because that's my whole thing. When you're dating, and I think that's a lot of times people get misunderstood too. When you date, you're not dating just one person. You're dating multiple people until you decide you want to date someone exclusively. And a lot of people get that. They don't understand that. It's like, oh, you can only date one person. No, the whole point of dating is that you date multiple people until you decide you want to do this one particular person, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But when you lie about it, and then one person out of the whole crew feels very strongly about you, and then you lie about that, then it's like, come on, dude, you even got to do all that. And then it's like, why lie? And then I'm like, you know what? That's why you can't call at certain times. This is why you can't come over. We can't kick it, you know. And I've known this person like for years, so it was like this particular person I knew for a while, and then we decided, hey, let's try to date, because I'm trying to go back old school. You know, I'm trying to do it different. And then it was like, okay, I can't even do old school no more, because y'all playing too. It's like either way you go, it's almost like the dating pool is just like, it has a whole bunch of stuff in it, and they just need to like I told my friend the other day, they need to just like blow the pool up and start all over again. Because it's not what it used to be. It's not. No one cares. It's like everyone lies and think, oh, I'm not going to find out. But then you go, especially with Facebook. I mean, there are people I've seen on dating websites that are on Facebook, and they're married, whole family on Facebook, and you're looking like, okay, but you just said on here you single and got 1 kid. I look at you on Facebook, you got 3 kids and a wife and a dog. You know, and it's like, come on, like,
not the dog.
Man, they got a whole dog sitting up there in the Christmas picture, like, hey, like, are you serious?
So after that date, with the guy, you know, that was married, did he try to reach out to you after that?
He reached out to me one time. It was probably, I'll probably say like a month later. He did reach out to me. He apologized, and that's the only reason he really reached out to me. He reached out to me to apologize and say, hey, you know, it was messed up what I did. You know, I should have been honest. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And he was like, well, that's what I wanted to tell you. I said, that's fine. I said, I accept your apology again, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, don't call me no more. You know, it was like, no, please don't call me no more, because I don't need your wife calling me, cussing me out now, you know, like, why my man calling? He just called to apologize, honey. That's all he did. He ain't trying to guilt me. I ain't trying to guilt him. He just called to apologize because he realized what he did was wrong. And I give him that. You know, I respect him for that. Because most people, they don't do that. They'll just let it go, and then they're so embarrassed by what happened, they don't even want to call a person But then usually the person is blocked, and I just happened to not block him because after that I didn't hear from him anyway. So it was kind of like I didn't have a reason to really say, okay, I'm gonna block him. So I just left it alone, and then he just happened to call and apologize. But it was nice of him to do. I respected it, you know. But you know, people don't do that nowadays.
Quick question. So do you think a date could be other than just going out to eat?
Of course. You don't always have to go out to eat to go on a date. I mean, you can go to the beach and walk along the beach. You can go to the park and sit and talk. Like, a date, honestly, is what you make it. Like, it doesn't have to be what society considers a date to be. You don't always have to go out to eat, because there are times where you don't want to eat and you just want to hang out, as far as like just being able to interact with that person to see if you're even compatible with them. But it's all about, and then with me, it's like, be creative. Like, you don't always have to go out to eat. It's like, shoot. Or you can make a picnic if you feel like you want to go eat. You don't have to necessarily go to a restaurant. You can always say, hey, you know what? You bring X, Y, and Z, and I'll bring this, that, and we'll have a picnic. And then that'll be another way to be able to break the ice, get to know each other. It's like, and then if you want to people you just cheap, then hey, go to the beach, go to the park, go somewhere that's free. I mean, you can go to a festival and just walk around, talk, get to know each other, see different things. It's like, it just all depends on what you want it to be. You can do museums, you know, whatever you want to do. It's like, really, a date does not have to be the typical.
That's true. That's definitely true. You know, but it's just now these days, it seems like that's the only thing that comes out is a date, go out to eat. I'm like, dang, you know, like there's other things you could do. You could go to the movies, you could go bowling. You could take a little mini trip. The dating scene have definitely changed 360. Definitely. Oh, yeah. Real quick, do you think it has a lot to do with age?
Yes and no. As you get older, you realize you start, well, at least I hope you start to realize there are other things that you do and don't want. When you're young, you don't care. It's kind of like, okay, you know what, this is what I want to do. We'll do this, we'll do that. As you get older, you start to realize that other things start to matter more. And I think sometimes that does play a role with dating, because when you're getting older, you're not looking for someone that you can have a one-night stand with. You're looking for someone that you can date to probably one day marry or be in a long-term committed relationship with, and not necessarily just being with somebody just to be with them for the moment. Like, not necessarily a short-term relationship. Because some people do what's called now short-term relationships, where you together for a couple of months or whatever, and then y'all decide you don't want to be bothering each other anymore. You move on. And I'm like, okay, why would I want to do that? So it's all. I mean, it's up to you and what you want to do, but at the same time, it's like, I know that does play a role as far as your age. Because when you get older, you want someone you can grow old with. You don't want nobody that you can just know for like a minute and then you gotta try to get to know someone else. And that's what a lot of times happens too, is that we have to take the time to really get to know someone. And a lot of times, depending on who you're dealing with, that could be a short process or that can be a long process. And sometimes when you're older, you don't want to go through all the long process, because it's like, you know what, I really want to know this person, but I don't want to sit here and wait a whole year trying to figure out who he is. As compared to like, okay, that
makes sense. So I'm about to close this out. I appreciate the time. I just wanted to have you on the show for the first show of the year, 2024.
Well, I thank you. Like I said, I don't mind. This is all. It's always nice to be able to talk with someone and get an opportunity to hear different opinions on stuff, because I don't get to hear those often. So it's always cool to have, especially from a male perspective as well, because I don't get that opportunity too much. So it was nice to have that opportunity, and I thank you for allowing me to give my opinion as well as hear yours as well.
Appreciate you. So we're going to close it out. This is the Wow Show podcast. Check it out. It will be available on my YouTube channel, DjTonka NYC. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click a thumbs up. And also click on that notification bell so every time I drop an episode, you definitely get the notification.